Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that most billers do not know about insurance claims. In fact, it's not just billers, it's also medical coders, medical office managers, and the medical providers themselves. So let's get started. To begin with, before we actually get started, let's make sure that everyone understands a simple truth in medical insurance claims. And that is 86% of commercial medical insurance claims are subject to the federal ERISA law. That's almost 9 out of 10. Now that's going to surprise a lot of you because only about 3% of you watching this video already know about ERISA. 97% of the people in this business do not know about it, and that's sad. Now, why is that sad? Well, it's because ERISA changes everything. ERISA changes, the way you're going to appeal the claim. It changes what the rules are you're going to follow, and it's really going to surprise you. Let's get started on the 5 things. Number 1, the claim you filed to the insurance company is not your claim. I know you think it's your claim. That's what you might have been told for years and years, even if you've been doing this for 25 years or longer. But it's not your claim. It is never your claim. It is never the hospital's claim. It is never the medical provider's claim. It is always the patient's claim because it is the patient's policy. It's not your insurance policy. It's theirs. Now, because it's their policy and their claim, that's a great thing. Why? It's simple. If it was your claim, you wouldn't have any protection because it is their claim. The claim and the policy has all kinds of protection. What kind of protection? The protection of the United States federal government. In fact, the United States Department of Labor is what oversees that claim. You say, always? No, just only if it meets an ERISA criteria. What criteria is that? Number 1, was the insurance provided by an employer to an employee? If so, it's part of an employment compensation package, and as such, it falls within the purview of the US Department of Labor. The second question is, was the insurance provided by an employer that is not the government and not the church? If it's the government or church, it's not ERISA. If you work as a highway patrol officer, your employer is a state. It's not ERISA. If you're a priest at a local Catholic church, your claim is not ERISA. But if you work anywhere else, Walmart, Target, Kroger, Starbucks, Holiday Inn, any one of the 22 million private employers or commercial employers out there, it is ERISA. That's why 8 out of 10 claims are ERISA. And that means that ERISA is protecting that patient's insurance policy. And that's huge. Number 3, the contract your administrator or doctor signed does not apply to an ERISA claim. It really doesn't. You say, well, what doesn't this right here mean that we agreed with the insurance carrier to certain stipulations? Yeah. And that does apply on that highway patrol officer or the pastor at the local church that gets their insurance through the church or something. But if it's anybody else that's at Walmart, that works at Target or Kroger or McDonald's or any one of the other 22 million employers out there, that contract that your doctor signed to certain things like timely filing does not apply. What applies? Only the patient's policy. You mean that if my doctor agreed to a 60-day filing period, that doesn't apply? No. Not if the patient's policy says they have a 1 year, then that claim has 1 year. And there's nothing the doctor can do that's going to change that. The doctor's signature is not that powerful. Not more powerful than the United States Congress that signed into law, that passed the law that the president signed back in 1974 to make it become law. Really? Yeah. So that 60 days that you think you have, or the 90 days that you think you have, doesn't apply on more than 8 out of 10 claims that you're dealing with. What else? The appeal period. The appeal processing timeline. Perhaps you have one that says you have 30 days to appeal the claim. But if the patient's policy says that there's 180 days, The 180 days trumps yours. Why? Because the patient's policy is all that matters. No contract that you sign or your hospital signed with an insurance company is more powerful than that patient's policy that's being protected by the government. Real simple. Pre-authorization. A lot of practices get denied for pre-authorization because of one reason or another. Hospitals get denied for that. Yet if you go back and look at the patient's policy, the policy might not require pre-authorization. If it does not require pre-authorization, then where is the insurance company coming up with it? Because they can't make it up on their own. That policy, that claim is protected by the United States Department of Labor. And if it doesn't require pre-authorization, then the insurance company still has to pay on that right there. What about the payment amounts? You might have an insurance company telling you, I'm sorry, we won't pay you unless you're part of our plan. You go to look at the patient's policy. Does it pay for out-of-network? If it says they're paying out-of-network, they have to pay. It's real simple. The patient's policy is all that's important. Number 4, your state board of insurance has 0 jurisdiction on ERISA claims. I mean, there's no reason to appeal to the State Board of Insurance if it's an ERISA claim. Now, again, if the person is a school teacher for the city you live in and they get their check from the city, then, yeah, you can go back to the State Board of Insurance and appeal it. But again, if they're working at any one of Macy's or Target or Sears or Walmart or Amazon or any place else, no reason to go to the State Board. They don't have any power. And the last one is ERISA stops insurance companies from recouping. And if they've already recouped, by the way, ERISA is going to help you get the money back from the insurance company because it is illegal for the insurance carriers to come back and recoup from you for any reason. If they want their money back, the United States Supreme Court has ruled on 3 different occasions, they have to go back to the patient and get it, not you. Imagine if they had mailed the check to the patient and the patient cashed the check and brought cash into you and paid your bill. And then 2 years later, the insurance company comes back and says, you know that cash they gave you, we want some of it back. You'd laugh at them. It's no different than that. Now, do I have proof on anything I'm showing? Yeah, I've got dozens and dozens of letters from people for the last 22 years that's learned this from me and has been following it. For instance, this one right here, the insurance company recouped money. The person filed an appeal using ERISA with them, and then the money was returned to the doctor. This is Lori Bradick in Columbus, Ohio. She attended the seminar just like this right here, except she attended the full hour one. Put it to use, Anthem, Aetna, United Healthcare refunded her every bit of the money that they had already taken back or recouped because they found out that she knows what the law is. Well, this one right here from David. David's got a very busy billing agency over in Southern California, Rancho Cucamonga. He's been using my methods from my webinars and books. He's stopped every single overpayment request. You know, the recoupment demands, refund demands, he stops them. And why? Because ERISA doesn't allow them to do that. Well, this letter right here from Zia. Some of you may know Zia. We had an out-of-network surgery with innovative services on a small child. $132,000, and the insurance carrier paid $648 on $132,000. They filed an ERISA appeal on this right here. The insurance company came back and paid an additional $64,000. That's a whole lot of money right there because they had to follow the patient's policy. Now, if you want more information, you go to my website, donself.com. Click on the ERISA link up there in the More area. Or you can go to my web shop and download the webinar or the full webinar or download the book. And the book has letters in it. There's links in the description area below. Please do me a favor and subscribe and like. Have a great day.